Started. If you haven't already done so, please log into Canvas. You're probably all experts at this now. Remember, if you aren't able to find your Canvas icon on your waffle, you can navigate to the district bookmarks and find the Canvas icon there. So let's get started. I am Kelly Brown. I'm an ed specialist for the virtual learning and instructional technology team. My primary work is with the Canvas platform, and I work alongside of my colleague here, Alana Purvis. I'll let Alana introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to register for our very first webinar series. We're happy to be here, and I'm also a specialist in the virtual learning and instructional tech office supporting Canvas. It is new for all of us, but what we're seeing on the ground and seeing some data from you all is that you are finding really innovative ways to use the curriculum and use it in front of students as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our Instructure Principal Learning Consultant, Mark.
Thank you very much, Alana. Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Slusky, and I am a former social studies teacher that now works for Instructure, the company that makes Canvas for the past 8 years. Looking forward to supporting Canvas adoption at Baltimore City Public Schools.
Yes, so we've all been very excited to be out in the field and working with teachers, working with you all to give you as much support as we possibly can. With that, let's look at our community agreements. So I want you to think back to May and when you first saw Canvas, potentially for the first time, thinking about how overwhelmed you might be, and think about how much you've learned from that point until now, right? So we really want to lean into that growth mindset. You might not be where you want to be with it when it comes to Canvas, but you've grown so much since May. So give yourself some grace. Start small, right? You don't need to shoot for the moon and have every module completed and everything. Bite-sized pieces, little goals each day. Have positive intentions. I know sometimes it can be frustrating when you're learning new things, but try to stay positive. We're all here to support you through this journey. And with that, at the end of this session today, we're going to have a Q&A section. So you'll be able to utilize the Q&A feature here within Zoom, and we will answer as many questions as we can from Q&A. And the questions that we can't answer live, we will follow up with you. Okay. As we've been out in the field, like I said, we've been noticing trends in different schools. So this webinar is highlighting some of the patterns that we're kind of seeing as we're visiting schools. We're going to look at the RCE, the Rich Content Editor, and how to make content clear for students. We're going to figure out how to structure our Canvas modules so that they're a little more organized and learning focused for the classroom. And then we're going to talk about publishing courses, modules, and specific items within Canvas. So I will pass it to Alana.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to launch a poll for you just to get a pulse check here of who is in our virtual space and how you are utilizing Canvas. So give you a second to answer that poll question. All right, we're at 50%. Just waiting for a few more to respond, and then we'll have 100%. Okay. All right, so it looks like the majority of us are at the I have not used Canvas yet. I'm still having trouble with navigating the platform. And then also I use Canvas on occasion. I may have them take a quiz or participate in discussion from time to time. And about 3 of us are using Canvas daily, finding it easy to create material for students. All right, so with that, I hope that you walk away by the end of this webinar, our time is brief, but we're also going to be sharing some resources at the end. Hopefully when you do a self-check with yourself at the end of our time together, that you're able to move yourself up a step and then be ready to implement Canvas differently tomorrow with your scholars. So let's jump into the learning. We're first going to start with creating clear and organized content. Again, one of the things that we've seen out in the field is the way that our courses are looking a little differently. Some of you had blueprint content pushed to you. Some of you had to build your courses from scratch. Neither here nor there. Everyone has the capability and should be adding some personalized content into the courses. So let's get started with the rich content editor. And Kelly's going to drive for us now, and I'm going to highlight a few things for you. Right, so here we have our Canvas course here. The first thing I want to talk to you about within the RCE is around images. And remember, we access our rich content editor by going to that pencil icon, which will open up the RCE box with all those tools that are oh so familiar to us. One thing to note about images, remember, you want to go to the image icon in your toolbar, right next to the link to upload image. You're going to click the drop down, click upload image, choose your image from the desktop, your documents, wherever that might be living. You're going to select that image. Make sure you enter in alt text if it is an actual image. If it is a decorative image, you want to make sure you select decorative image. This is really important so that screen readers can read the images you are uploading. Go ahead and click that submit. Gold is good, which means that image has been uploaded. We wanted to call this out to you because some of the feedback and some of these things that we're seeing is that you are copying and pasting your images. Copying and pasting your image in your RCE is going to break the content, so it won't be visible for your scholars to see. So remember, use the image icon in your RCE to upload those images. The next thing we want to call out is around your Google Drive. We'll start there. Remember that documents that come into your page are view only. So these are Google Docs. These are also Google Slides. They're going to come into the page as view only. So Kelly's going to go ahead and select a document from her drive. We're going to attach. Gold is good. And now that document has been added into our RCE and page. Keep in mind, when you need to update the document, you must update it from your Google Drive. But those updates will automatically be pushed to anywhere that you've housed that content within Canvas. Also, remember, you must be the owner of the resources that you are sharing or be an editor. Otherwise, you will not have that share access or to make those changes. So we took a minute to look through Google Drive, adding resources. The same applies for OneDrive. Any document that you bring in from Microsoft OneDrive is also going to be in view only. We're going to go ahead into our OneDrive. This time we're selecting a PowerPoint. Embed. Embedding makes it cleaner and more cohesive for students to view that content within the page. If you were to add it as a link, that would require students to go to an outside tab, and we just want to keep them right here in Canvas where everything's nice and smooth for them. Again, you must be the owner or editor of those resources that you share, and those updates need to be in your Microsoft OneDrive in order to be live here. The last thing I want to show you here in the RCE is with Studio. How to embed a Studio video, and we can also go to Studio from our global navigation menu, either or. But we're so happy to see and hear how you all are using Canvas Studio, using Studio Quizzes as a nice replacement to Edpuzzle, and all of those great features as well. But we're going to embed a video with captions. Okay, so you'll go ahead and click on your video, and then you'll see embed options. We're going to click on embed media. And then it's going to give us some options here right beneath the video. You'll see details, comments, insights, which gives you a view as to how many views, how long did students view that video, and then you'll see captions. Captions are very important for us to make sure that we're including so that any students with accessibility needs are able to have that closed captioning. Okay. So we're going to go into our studio library and publish that so that it's now attached to the video. Go to the ellipsis, review and publish. This is really important also to make sure that the captions are aligned to what's actually being said in the video. If there are any changes that need to be made, you can replace the text there. This looks good to go. We're ready to roll. We're going to go ahead and click publish. All right. Now we're going to go back to Studio and get that new video with the captions. And now we're going to embed it into our RCE. We're going to click on Embed Media. Bold is good. Now it is here and you can already see that the captions have been populated.
Can I jump in here really quickly?
Of course.
So in the first video, I left the media tags on, enabled, and that's how you could see the insights, the captions, the details. This time I pulled it in, I turned them off so you could see the difference between the two. This disables all of those extra pieces underneath. So it's just the video with the captions this time.
All right, and Kelly, why don't you take it away and lead the charge of how teachers can structure their courses?
Thank you so much. As we've been moving along, we're going to think about modules, and we've got to see some amazing work that you all have done within your courses. And we really want to take you through the module structure. I know some people have really pared down the way their modules are looking in their course. Some people have a little bit beefier modules, but we just want you to focus on how does this look for students? What is the student's experience with modules? So right now, if I'm looking at this particular course as a student, of course, everything is currently published. There's a lot of content here, including my instructor module. It's a lot for students to see. So I'm going to leave student view and I want to start thinking about how can I structure my modules so that it's just right to the point, short and sweet, giving students what they need. Mark is going to walk us through publishing in a bit, but I want to focus on actual modules themselves. So in the field, I've seen teachers organize content by week. I've seen teachers organize content by day, like they're literally moving day to day with their resources. I've seen teachers organize content by important information or exit tickets in one module. Morning work has a module. So for example, they would add morning work module. And that's right at the top, and students would go right to that morning work module and start there. Okay. Lots of ways you can get creative, but at the end of it all, make sure you're viewing this as a student so that you really understand what they're experiencing. You may find, if you're looking at your courses, that you might have too much. Okay. When you're building out a module, really leverage your text headers. So, morning work, maybe this is Monday. Okay. And then you can add your assignment underneath of your Monday text header and really build this out so that students know exactly what to expect and exactly what to experience. Okay. And then you can add a text header for Tuesday if you really want to pare it down for students. But the modules really give you the opportunity to be flexible and creative in what you want to share. Now I'm going to publish my module and all the items. So that way you can just kind of see how this looks from the student experience. Again, ignore the rest of the modules, but maybe you just want to have something simple, one module at the top that you can use. If you need help organizing your modules or getting a thought partner, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to support. All right. Another important thing to note, these courses are beefy. Some people got a lot of information from their content teams. Just because you removed something from a module does not mean it leaves the course. And if an update happens and you think you're missing a page, always check within pages, because if you delete something from a module, it will still live in this library of pages. Okay. Same thing goes for assignments and discussions. Right. So nothing is ever lost unless you delete it out of one of these items, but the modules just act as those file folders to keep things organized. Right. And I think that's all I have for modules. Keep it simple. Nothing's ever gone. And if you need help, we're here for you. I'm going to turn it over to Mark, who's going to talk about publishing.
Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will jump over to the demo course and we'll take a look at making sure that we have all of the content that we've built out viewable to the students. There we are. Alrighty, so there's 3 different places that we're going to want to make sure that we publish to allow transparency in our Canvas course. So on our homepage, we are always going to have the option with our course status. This course of mine is currently published. So step 1 to create that transparency is making sure that the course itself is published. Not only do we want to make sure that the course is published, but the specific parts of the course are also published and accessible to students. So I wanted to show the modules for this course. We have a couple of specific teacher modules with some directions that say do not publish. And then we've got some information for students. We have a welcome, and then we're getting into our content. I want to call out in our welcome module, we have half of our activities published and half not. And then these top 2 modules are not published. So when we go into student view, you'll notice that those top 2 modules are not visible by students in the course. And then when we go to that welcome module, we as the students are only seeing the 2 activities that are published. So to create that full transparency, I'm going to leave student view. And for the individual modules, I'm going to come over on the right-hand side where the title of the module is, and we are going to have this option. We can publish either only the module or the module and all the items. I can just give it a click like that and everything publishes. I can also come over to the individual activities and just give each of those a quick publish. They turn green. That lets me know that it's going to be transparent and my students are going to see it. And then finally, we can publish the module only, and then we can go in and we can choose to add the content. So if we go back into student view, what we should see is a fully built out Canvas for Teacher module, a teacher instruction module where we're not going to see the content, and then a fully built out welcome. And we'll just check to make sure that works. This is always a great best practice after you finish building out your content before you're ready to present it to your students. Give a quick look and see if the visibility is how you want it. So there's that first fully visible module. There is our second module without the visibility of the activity page, and our full welcome module for the course. So
Mark, I have a question. You focus on publishing within your course, but what about your actual course?
Yeah. So we can do that a couple of different ways. We can either publish that course, again, from the homepage, or we can also publish that course from our dashboard. So I'm just waiting for my internet to catch up. From my homepage, I can publish my entire course here. Also, from the dashboard, you will have your published courses at the top of your dashboard and your unpublished courses at the bottom of your dashboard. And you can always publish your courses from your dashboard. Of course, I don't have a course that is unpublished. If I had an unpublished course, I can click there and then I can choose to move it around or to publish it at that point.
Mark, I also had a question for you.
Yes, I like pop quizzes.
Can you share your screen one more time?
I would love to.
So let's just say, wait till you share your screen so I can see what you have, what you're working with. All right, if you can go back into a module. So let's just say that for the top one, can you unpublish everything for the time being? And then only publish helpful tips. Okay, so if I only publish helpful tips, but my module is not published, you won't see helpful tips. Students won't see that. So you have to make sure that you publish the module as well. So you can publish one item and the module as long as you have that module published. Sorry, it's something I noticed and I wanted to call to
Kelly, that's a
attention.
good question.
Think of modules as folders. So if that folder is unpublished, even if you have a published item inside that folder still not is still not going to allow that content to be visible until that folder or module is published itself.
Awesome. So we're going to move into the Q&A portion of our webinar. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing your screen again. And there is one question right now in the Q&A. And then if you have any more questions, please drop them into the Q&A. So the first question, team, is, are we able to create sub-modules, or are we only able to separate the module using headers?
There currently isn't a way to sort of put a module within a module, but the way that I've done it and the way that I've coached it is exactly the way that you mentioned it, leveraging text headers. If you think of text headers as sort of like those three-ring binder dividers, where you can then break up the content within that module into however many subsections you would like.
Yes, I do wish that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Take that back, Mark. Any other questions? Mm,
All right, we're getting more popping in here. Kelly, I'll let you ask the next one.
Beautiful. All right, I'm having a problem with allowing my students to respond to an assignment. I will set up the assignment and the students cannot respond. Oh, Lynette, I'm wondering is it because they can't see the assignment? I would need to know more about that piece. Let me see.
We would
Um, Lynette, do you mind elaborating a little further on your question? I'm going to ask, sorry, I'm asking you to unmute so you can verbally tell us if that's easier.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Hi, how are you? And I do apologize.
Good.
I had coach class, so I was late popping in. But I set up the assignment, and when they go to respond to the question, I don't know what I'm doing incorrectly, that they cannot, put their answer in. So what am I not doing that's not allowing them to actually put in an answer?
Lynette, do you by any chance have that Canvas course open? If you go to that assignment and you just sort of copy the web URL, we can jump in and we can take a closer look. It sounds like it could be one of a couple of issues.
Okay.
One issue it sounds like it could be is under submission type. You have to set a way for the students to kind of turn in the work. And if that's not set, they might not have that opportunity. The other item that it might be, I have seen teachers will use Canvas pages, which is sort of a one-directional flow of
Okay.
information where students can't respond to.
Got you. Okay. Let me
Yeah,
see if
but we can check that out for you on the back end, Lynette,
okay.
and set up some time to help you with that piece.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to pass it to Alana for the next question.
So can any content be indented? Yes, you can indent anything within your module. There was another question that I answered in the chat. There around cloning the class content for more than one section. There is a feature called cross-listing. So you go to help and resources. I'll show you that in literally a minute. They will, once you call them, they're going to walk you through being able to cross-list your content. If you have more than one section of the same course, it's going to make things a lot easier for you. And last one, yes, this webinar recording will be shared with you in the coming days. Keep your eyes peeled.
And then there's two more questions. So tried to delete a slide deck and replace it with a new, but I couldn't delete it and added the new one 3 times. Oh no, how can I delete the ones I don't want? I will help you with that because it seems a little more specific. So again, we're going to share our emails at the end. I can connect with you to help you with that piece. And then finding grades for a quiz. I can show that very quickly. So to go, boy, is in the way. All right, to find grades for a quiz, if you click into your quiz, and again, these are all test quizzes and silly quizzes, you can so there's 2 ways to go about finding grades for the quiz that you have given. And the first way, actually, I'm in a bad course for this. Mark, do you happen to have a quick example? Because this course is bare bones, doesn't really have. Okay, there we go. So the first thing you can do is go to your grades tab and you can pull up all of your graded assignments and quizzes in here. You can search for the assignment name and find the specific quiz or assignment. You can apply specific filters for certain sections if you've cross-listed. And you can go into the actual item from the grade book. Typically, that's how I would do it. I would go through grades, but you can also go through the speed grader. Let me go back to assignments. You can go through speed grader within the actual assignment itself. Again, so sorry, this is very bare bones. So I'm not sure what I'm going to have here, but it'll say speed grader off to the right, and you'll be able to click it and get to your grades. Okay, again, this is the same person. So when I follow up with you about the deleted slides, I will also follow up with you about the grades piece as well. Okay. All right, we are at time. So we want to move forward. Again, if you have any questions, we will be sharing our emails and we can follow up with you individually. All right. Looking ahead, October 29th is the next webinar. We'll be talking about how to use Canvas activities to engage students in rigorous work. That'll be from 4 to 4:30 at that time.
Awesome. Again, going to the help and resources within your global navigation menu, the training portal will give you access to tons of training and resources. The Canvas first look and refresher on your dashboard goes through some of these skills again. This is where you want to call the Canvas support hotline if you are interested in cross-listing. All right, here is our contact information. Go ahead and track down our email if you'd like to do that. Take a screenshot, take a picture.
We can also put it in the chat for you.
Yep. And then we'll go to the next slide for to capture your attendance. And with that, that concludes our first webinar of our webinar series. We're so happy that you were able to attend today. I'm going to drop our emails in the Kelly's already on it. And so thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time, your questions, and your engagement. Have a wonderful rest of your week.